Hello everybody, BubblesZest here and welcome back to HOI4. In today's video we're going to be playing as the Soviet Union, attempting to answer the question of what's the point of requesting Imperial protection? Right, to answer the question, there is no real point of requesting Imperial protection in my opinion. You can win the Civil War quite easily without any of the benefits it gives, and in the end you end up as a puppet, so I don't see it as all that. So why are we here? Well, I believe there is one very specific situation where it's kind of alright. So, let's begin. First things first, research slots. Standard electronics and industry. It's always good to have an intelligence agency. For our civs, we're going to be building 2 supply hubs in Xinjiang, one here, one there. We'll link them up later. Anyway, for our mills and dockyards, we're going to be spamming guns and convoys. For the Air Force, we're going to be gathering it all up and deleting it. For the army, we're going to gather it all up under one army with a massive fallback line. Something like this massive zigzag will do. And for the tanks, we're going to change them over to infantry to keep them safe. And that is pretty much all of our prep out the way. So, we're going to do beaten but not defeated, go up to speed 5, and begin. Oh, how could I forget, we're also going to exercise the army until we get at least 5 XP. Next up, we'll do the unification of the exiles. Oh, and political paranoia has begun. We want to be careful today. We want Stalin to start the Civil War for us by having his paranoia over 90. We need a delicate balance of having his paranoia high, but not too high. So next up, we now have the option between the women's movement, the true Tsars, and national unification. Can you tell which one I'm going to do? Well, today it's going to be the women's movement. I intend to flip democratic, but we can get away with this 5% extra support. And also, this is just a nice national spirit to have. 10% recruitable population factor and 10% extra output. Next, we're going to be going down to the Synoid. We can't embrace the Black Hundreds because we're not going to be creating a top secret headquarters today. We don't need to. And here's our first event, a visor accused of treason. Well, let's kick the paranoia even higher. We can afford it for now. We have satisfactory production reports on standby just in case we need it. Oh, and this is interesting, we have a general accused of treason. Well, there is no place in the army for such men. So who has Stalin turned into a cow this time? It's Blucher and Krill. Those are very good. One is an organizer and one of them is an infantry officer. This trait means that these generals can defect to us when the Civil War starts. That's very good. And yes, this also means Stalin has turned these generals into cows. I don't know why he keeps doing this, he does this all the time. Right, the trial of the Zenoniites is on its way. Now remember, it bumps up political paranoia by 30, so we can potentially use this to get Stalin's paranoia over 90 and start the Civil War for us. So basically, we have to be ready within 70 days. Gonna be tight. Right, next we're gonna ban fascism. The Academy is the place to ask questions, and now we're in a very delicate position because Stalin's paranoia is over 75. This means he could do a Great Purge event, so we need to be, again, quite on top of this. We have a purge of the junior officers. This should go away once we flip, and we can probably afford this as it will give us more support in the army. So while it is painful, we'll take it. Oh, of course, it said up to 5%, it gave us nothing. 10 days to go until the trial, so let us ensure our victory in the Civil War by any means. We're going to go into Division Designer, create empty, create new, infantry battalions, artillery. Grab all divisions with the exception of the NKVD units and change them all over to that. This is what our stockpile now looks like. And now we're going to send absolutely everything over to Spain, which today may as well be the Republicans. Oil, guns, equipment, anything that we can send we will, because otherwise we split 50-50 and I don't want to share, so it's going to be all for us. There's all this talk about a button to make it quicker, but I still haven't been able to see it. But whatever, just spamming 0 usually does the trick. And there they go. Manuel Lozano will be very happy until we cancel this end lease and get it all back. And now, we're going to hold the event for the trial. Stalin oh look, what do you know, he already did it. He mobilised the armed forces immediately. Right, where have we been sent to? Engels Markstadt. Very interesting. Anyway, to arms. Yeah, this is what happens if you don't choose a base. The game will just send you anywhere. Anyway, next step, we need to choose our concession. Now, we could offer Vladivostok, and that will give us 24 divisions, which is quite useful. But what I'm going to do is Sakhalin for arms. Never done that before. And we must continue the way down immediately to request an Imperial protection. So let's quickly bypass all these focuses and get down there. Anyway, for the very small army we have, it is more than good enough. We'll just break it up into some equal stacks and prepare to go. We'll change them over to cavalry units and run down the Soviet Union. The only units that can stop us are those NKVD units from earlier, the Barrier Boys as I call them. Oh yeah, if you're wondering about Onolets, for some reason it is literally the most disloyal state in the Soviet Union. It will always rise up with you. Some people speculated it's because it has an airport, but I literally built an airport in every Soviet state and Onolets still rose up. So as far as I know, Onolets will always join you. And let's make sure we cancel that lend lease, it's all for us. Right, let's go. It is good that we're close to Stalingrad. That has a lot of recruitable population for us. And hey, Japan is also giving us arms. Nice. The units will just want to run absolutely everywhere, so we kind of need to micro them at this stage. Once you get a good amount of recruitable population, we're going to start training up horses. As many as we can get, and we'll spam them as soon as we can. Our front line is still very thin. I mean, we only started with 11 divisions. Ah, good, the first cavalry's here. For the volunteers Germany and Italy will give you, you should take them in a run like this. Surprisingly though, I've never seen Japan give volunteers, despite the fact they're meant to, I think. For the Barrier Boys, the easiest way to deal with them is to just encircle them. Although they will do what they like to do and just get in the way. Right now you should just focus on sniping the victory points. Any will do. There's also increased our potential for defection events. Really hoping we get at least one of those two generals who are currently cowed by Stalin. Oh, what do you know, here's Krill. So one of the two has already come over to us. For any defection units you want, you can either change them over to cavalry or delete them for the manpower. I'll leave that choice up to you. The fact that it's winter is already going to be a massive pain for us, but oh well. We have to do what we have to do. And what does Japan say about helping us? They say yes, they will join our war. Good. Now next up for us, we're going to upgrade the Red Army. Mode plan cohesion first. This is also useful because it means Japan can take victory points for us, ones like Vladivostok for instance. That should do it. Wow, that was quick. It's only the 3rd of January 1937 and we're already done. The Soviet Union has capitulated. It was unfortunate that we only got Krill as our defector. I really wanted that organiser, but oh well, we get what we get. Right, we're going to put all of these units back onto a fallback line, change them over to infantry and exercise. We have 17 units left, so we may as well do the same. Full army group of infantry. Pretty good. And this is what we've been left with. A deficit of minus 14,000, mostly because of us changing our units over. Not bad. Huh. Slightly different text with this event. Even notes that we are just a puppet of Japan right now. Looks like we only managed to build one of those supply hubs. Oh well, we'll link it up. Such a long railway diversion. But oh well, we'll put another supply hub ready, so it should eventually be built. We're going to make a brief detour to consolidate power and rebuild the nation. Both are very nice national spirits. Let's go up to partial mobilization as well. This economy is in complete shambles, so we may as well get it going. Isn't it interesting that how the Soviets rebuild the nation gives only minus 3% consumer goods, while Germany's one gives minus 20% consumer goods? This probably needs to be rebalanced. But yep, once again, Alexander Kerensky's popularity is on the rise. There's nothing that actually says we need to go democratic to do this. I just thought, why not? So, Japan has done the Great East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere, meaning that the Marco Polo Bridge incident is imminent. So, we're going to park on the border with Xinjiang. 24 divisions, because supply here is really bad. Don't forget this little border you have with them. We're going to send another 6 units down there. The last thing you want is to lose territory, you know. I'm standing Vladimir here because he is a mountaineer and a winter expert. Both useful traits around here. This focus tree is not like Manchukuo's focus tree where you get turned into an Imperial subject. We are currently a puppet, so we can be called into the war. I was right also, we lost the Great Purge of the junior officers, so luckily that wasn't a downside for us. And there you go. It has begun. Now we're going to wait for Japan to call us in. Oh, and what do you know they did? The best part of this is that we're now at war with China, which counts as a major because they're the leader of the Chinese United Front. So that means we can do desperate measures very, very early. This is the main benefit of requesting Imperial protection in my opinion. The fact that you could do this and get lessons of war several years earlier than you're probably meant to. It's good we put the supply hubs, isn't it? We can actually push into Xinjiang a little if we want to. You can also right now do lend-lease scams if you really want to get rid of this deficit. So improve relations with Germany, Italy and Hungary, and that will pretty much get rid of any deficit you might have. Anyway, that's desperate measures done. Now we're going to continue down all the way to the Zemsky Sobor. And what you know, non-aligned debates democracy again. So once more, the man, the myth, the legend, Alexander Kerensky is back. Who would have thought that Kerensky would end up as the puppet of Japan? What a surprise. Sometimes I've seen it when you haven't built the supply hubs, Xinjiang will try and push into you, which might be useful for trait farming but a bit unreliable. It's just easier to build the supply hub so you can just have a static front line. We've managed to advance like 2 tiles into Xinjiang now. We get very far. I mean, I'm not surprised. Xinjiang is mostly just mountains or frozen deserts, so no wonder we haven't got too far. The Zemsky Sobor. We remain democratic, and it's your choice which way to go from here. Today, it's going to be Roman Reconstruction. I hope you weren't planning on finishing this war and taking land for yourself. Since you're a puppet, all of your war skill will go to Japan. This could be especially annoying during the Russian Civil War itself if you have any states break away. Japan will just puppet them out of you, you won't get them back. Of course, this whole situation is pretty good for leader grinding. Look at all these traits. Anyway, we're going to have to get down to the Great Patriotic War of Independence, so pacify the Rim first. Well, there we go, we did get our organizer in the end. Vladimir would be an okay field marshal, but we're going to make him the army regrouping specialist. And we're going to farm Krill here so he can be the infantry specialist. We're getting so much XP we can even change doctrine. Should we do something adventurous and go to Grand Battle Plan or continue down mass assaults? We'll just continue down mass assaults. Well, that just came out of nowhere. Then again, we are over 50% world tension, so it looks like they just justified for Vilnius. Paradox talked about how they removed the Baltic AI acting historically, so we don't see the Fund Across Empire or the Latvian Military Directorate on historical. But this is still not a thing, because it's just the AI enforcing its claims. And good, Krill is now level 4. He's our infantry specialist. Not the best army command, but it's the best we're probably going to get. Would have been useful if Vasily Blucher had defected to us, because he is an advisor, but oh well. Yep, I actually built a supply hub in Xinjiang that we're probably not going to keep our hands on forever, but why not? It helps us in these little moments. And now time for our top secret plan to get rid of Japan. The Great Patriotic War of Independence is now. We've taken nearly 200k casualties by just being foolish. You could easily take 0 by just not doing anything. And here's our top secret plan. Doing nothing. Yep, doing the Great Patriotic War of Independence. Creates you independent, even pieces you out with China. All it does give you is a war goal with Japan. So there's nothing stopping us just doing this and going away without declaring war on them. Which is what we're going to do. All we've done is just completely encircled quite a lot of Japanese divisions in Xinjiang. Should we try and join the Axis before we finish up? Yeah, why not? Let's see if they'll say yes to the Kerensky alliance. As I said, this could have been much better if we just completely gun scammed and decked out our armies, but even then we already have 50k, so your choice on whether or not that's something you want to do, I suppose. But we did manage to get 2 more doctrines, defense in depth and pocket defense. We are in a very strong position if we were going to fight Germany at this point. We could definitely bring the Germans to a stalemate and probably turn them back. The main thing we're lacking right now is actually just tanks and CAS. I do think it's weird that you get this little piece out and then you don't immediately declare war on Japan or anything. When I did this the first time, I thought it'd be like declaring independence as Poland, where you could potentially order 66 Japan for free. But no, it's just this war goal. If you did have a big enough fleet, sure, go ahead, but it's still Japan at the end of the day, and their fleet is huge compared to yours, which is that. So, are we able to join the Axis? No. Damn, that's actually the first time I've seen them reject that. I have actually seen that Germany usually accepts us, but I guess that's just how it is. Oh well. But yes, this is where we'll be calling this. This has been an interesting look into requesting Imperial protection. I think we made the best run out of this that we could, but I'm still not on board with it. Considering what we had to do to get here, this is probably not something that can be done in most games. For instance, if you actually did it normally and started in Cheetah, you'd probably end up in a situation by the time your civil war ends, Japan is already at war with China and they'll immediately call you in, meaning you might get rushed down in Xinjiang if you're not prepared for it. I mean, it might not be that bad, but it's something you might want to keep in mind if you're going to attempt this. I do, however, think, though, that the Great Patriotic War of Independence should be changed. It should be something like this. Okay, you do the focus, you go to war, and if you manage to push Japan out of Manchuria, Manchukuo and Korea, you get a peace event, similar to China's, and that's the end of the war. You shouldn't have a situation like this war goal where you can choose not to use it for some reason. I think there's a missed opportunity for an actual Great Patriotic War of Independence. But yeah, that'll be that. I thank you for watching, I do hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments below, I'm always looking for new video ideas. But this has been me, Bubble Zest, and until we meet again everybody, goodbye.